So it's day 4 with BYD ATTO 3, and impressions at this point, it's pretty clear, are very favorable with this car. It drives well. In the last video, we drove it out to Ingolstadt, about 90 kilometers. The car did very well out there. We did the EV charging test and it charged a solid 88 kilowatts. Today, when we started out, the car only had about 50 kilometers of range. So the thinking was that we would head straight to IAA Mobility, but there were some other things to do in the afternoon. So we wanted to take the car to get it charged up. So we took it to Tesla Supercharger, but we could not get the car to work with Supercharger. We spent about 30 minutes. We tried 3 different supercharging stations and the car just would not register with Tesla Supercharger. The car just would not register with Tesla Supercharger and could not figure out why. So we looked for another charging station, ChargePoint, and interestingly enough, ChargePoint, they don't accept credit cards from Japan. I cannot understand the rationale behind that at all. Why why there is limited support for international credit cards from ChargePoint. So at that point, that left us with about 30 miles of range, and things started to get really uncomfortable at that point because we're dealing with sort of payment issues. We're not part of any charging network as it relates to EV charging and being able to sort of plug and pay, or pay and plug, whatever you want to call it. So that was a real issue. So then we found a local EV charger that actually did accept international credit cards, and we're able to get the car charged. It doesn't seem that the issue after charging it with the other charging station was with Tesla. There seems to be some sort of issue with the charging port on this car with handshaking for whatever reason, because at the other EV charging station, the BYD ATTO 3 would disconnect even though the EV charger would show that it's still charging the car. And I wasn't sure if we would be able to get any real range with the ATTO 3 because of the issues with the handshaking, but left the car for a little while, about a half hour, and came back and the car was charged to about 270 miles of range. I'm sorry, 270 kilometers of range, 64% charge. So it's not good in terms of the EV charging experience. That's been well documented in many parts of the world, obviously from my own personal experience, Germany included. So that really needs to be improved.
Proceed 3 kilometers on Prince-Regentenstrasse.
But we're going to go back to Tesla Supercharger tonight and try to resolve the handshaking issue. I think I know what's causing the handshake issue, or I think I know what's causing the car not to handshake. So we're just going to spend some time to work with the Tesla Supercharger, and because we have more time, we will hopefully get it resolved, because we do need to charge this car up to full in order to be able to complete our trip to Salzburg, Austria tomorrow, and obviously be able to get back here to Munich on Friday, because that will be our last full day with the BYD ATTO 3. So one cool feature about the BYD ATTO 3 is at low speeds, it has a bit of a kind of electrified sort of whine sound, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it when we begin moving from the light. The sound is active when the car is traveling at up to 20 kilometers per hour. I haven't tested whether the sound is audible outside of the car. I will test that, but if you can hear that, that's the whine sound, and I will continue to record that sound at low speed so that you can get a sense of what it looks like. But it's pretty cool. Again, I don't know if you can hear it outside the car. Hopefully you can, because it would be really nice for pedestrians to have a sense that the car is present, because as you know, EVs, or as you may not know, EVs don't really make an audible sound relative to internal combustion engine vehicles. So for safety reasons, it is good that the vehicle does make an audible noise, but just want to verify that you can hear it outside the car. So right now we're traveling at 20 kilometers per hour, and you can hear that sound. Now, perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps it could just be the motor doing that. I don't know if that's an artificial sound or if that's something from the motor, but you only hear it at 20 kilometers an hour, an hour or lower. And so I imagine that it is an artificial sound that's piped into the vehicle. That's really a wrap for day 4. I will report back this evening with the Tesla Supercharger experience. And then in the next video, I'll talk about the impressions of sort of the interior experience, the passenger experience. But thanks for checking out this video, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.